Now, former leader or deputy leader of the Greens Party, James Shaw, saying that now he's come clean, come public with the news that he's stepping down as co-leader. I don't know. Perhaps he had time to think about things over the holidays. Of course, it was this time last year that our Prime Minister stepped down after time to go home and rethink their life. However, the question of the day has to be, did he jump or was he pushed? Was there a certain pressure from within the Greens movement, or perhaps the party that he was leading taking a direction that he wasn't totally happy with? He's not quite so open about that. Joining us on the program now, political commentator Bryce Edwards. Bryce, kia ora, good morning.
Morena, Andrew.
This is an interesting one. There were some reasons given, but I think the timing's quite interesting on this, Bryce.
Well, I think your introduction is quite correct, that there's an element of the former co-leader being marginalised and choosing to go.
Yep.
I think his timing is quite good. He's been there for a long time. This is a co-leader that came in, 2008? No, I can't remember actually when he came in.
9 years apparently he's done as
about a
co-leader.
decade or
Yep.
so. And so he's done his time, and any person in politics finds it some pretty hard going at times, especially when you're trying to shepherd some quite difficult sheep at times in your own party.
Yeah.
And he's had lots of ups and downs, and there's no doubt about it, there are a lot of people in his party that don't like him, don't like the direction he's taken the party, see him as too conservative or maybe too centrist, too pro business, etc., and they've wanted him gone. And so, of course, a year and a half ago, he was actually rolled as leader under Green Party, constitutional niceties. But so he's gone under his own steam, I think, this time.
Yeah.
But it's certainly after a tough time, and after not being entirely happy, I'd say, with the direction his own party is going in, which isn't quite the pure environmentalist and climate change focus that James Shaw prefers.
Now, one thing which I thought was significant in his departure speech, he didn't endorse Chloe Swarbrick as the heir apparent. Even Ron DeSantis managed to swallow down the next potential candidate. However, is it a definite that Chloe Swarbrick will be the next co-leader? Any other contenders, Bryce?
Chloe Swarbrick is the definite if she wants it. Yep. And I don't think it's unusual for leaders that are stepping down to refrain from publicly endorsing who they think should be their replacement. It doesn't go well down with the public or with people in the party for a leader to anoint someone.
Yeah.
My own view is that he is anointing Chloe Swarbrick privately, and she's been someone that he's been mentoring for a long time.
Yep.
And he's closely aligned to her. And I think he would have been aware that he would probably do more damages to her chances of taking over the co-leadership if he actually endorsed her, because of that. That would be seen as a kiss of death for some on certain factions of the Greens. But Chloe Swarbrick, she's a no-brainer as the choice of leader. Very impressive MP, representative for Auckland Central. She's had that electorate now. She's into the second term of that.
Yep.
And regardless of what you and I might think of her individual policies, she's an extraordinary and charismatic leader.
Yeah.
And I think she has a huge amount of respect and mana within the Green Party. It's going to be a interesting new chapter for the Greens if and when they take her on as co-leader, because it will mean there's two women leading the Green Party for the first time.
Now, a little bit of confusion about this one. I always thought that you had to have a male and a female, but no, you just have to have at least one female and at least one Māori. Is that the rule?
The rule until recently was it just had to be one female and one male.
Yep.
They made a change about a year ago to change it so that you had to have at least one of the leaders being female.
Yeah.
And the other one can be um, male, female, transgender,
Yeah.
non-binary, whatever,
Hmm.
but also one of them has to be Indigenous Maori. So this could lead to all sorts of problems in the future when the Greens are having to choose a co-leader.
Hmm.
But for the moment, it's not really a problem because they've got Marama Davidson,
Yeah.
who ticks two of those boxes already.
Yeah.
So it gives them the opportunity to elect another male co-leader, and there are some options there, or a female, Chloe Swarbrick. But and I think that's what they will do. I
Hmm.
think there's some reputational risk in having two female co-leaders. The Greens, they cover a lot of different sort of factions and support bases. They pick up people that are just interested in climate change, people are just interested in greater economic and equality being
Yep.
achieved. And then they have some people that are more interested in social justice issues.
Yes.
And we'll see having two female co-leaders as an historic sort of, shift forward.
Hmm.
But then I think there'll be others that see this as maybe going a bit too far, maybe epitomizing that the Greens have gone too woke and they're moving away from that traditional focus on climate change and pollution and environmental issues.
There's certainly more forest green and less teal green than it was 24 hours ago. That'd be fair?
Well, yes, that's right, because James Shaw was seen as the most teal of the Green MPs. And so there's always a bit of debate about whether New Zealand could have another Green Party that's a bit more
Okay.
centrist in that sort of mode of James Shaw.
This is one of the other questions, I suppose. I mean, again, the timing is interesting, but James Shaw in interviews this morning has indicated that he's looking forward to opportunities in the new year. Political opportunities, perhaps? What's your thoughts?
Well, he's certainly leaving parliamentary politics.
Yeah.
And he's leaving with a lot of respect from across the political spectrum.
Hmm.
And like no other Green MP, or perhaps any other MP, he really does have respect from all the other political parties,
Yeah.
just on a sort of personal basis, but also because he's able to work more than anyone else with his opponents.
Hmm.
He's really tried to find compromise and common ground, especially with the National Party. And so he's got a long history with having some friendship with Christopher Luxon,
Hmm.
well before Luxon came into politics. They worked together when before both of them were in politics, in fact,
Okay.
because Shaw used to be a business consultant on how to make businesses more sustainable.
Yeah.
And he worked with Luxon when Luxon was at Air New Zealand. So he could easily go back into that space. But there are some suspicions or some predictions that National will appoint James Shaw as the new climate commissioner, because
Wow.
we have this new climate commission set up by the last government. Rod Carr is the current commissioner, but he ends his tenancy in a few months' time,
Yep.
and it won't be surprising if National then get Shaw to step into that role.
I mean, that does sound an obvious move, and perhaps a corridor conversation, a shoulder tap, or a secret text message, do you think? Or am I getting too conspiratorial, Bryce?
Oh, look, I don't know. I just wouldn't be surprised if this is already been sorted with National.
Yeah.
But I think James Shaw has gone, at a time when I think he wants to give his other MPs a chance to start leading the party themselves.
Yep.
It's a good way of clearing the decks from all of that bad news about Guruz Garaman.
Yeah.
Takes the focus off that,
Hmm.
and it suggests the party has a bit more newness, freshness. But yeah, there's no doubt at all that there'll be plenty of jobs that Shaw will be eligible for, and not just in this country, but
Yeah.
internationally at the UN, etc.
Hey, appreciate your comments and insight as always. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Andrew.